Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the 16th of January 2014. I wanted to put a podcast together because, well, lots of stuff are happening. We just saw a video this morning of a woman in Canada who's a physicist and worked in nuclear, industry and all that. And this is like a year maybe or a few months after the disaster at Fukushima in Japan with the earthquake and the tidal wave and all of that. She said we're screwed. I mean, literally, she said we're screwed. I'm going to put that video up on the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, and you really need to watch it. But I am going to say this. Please do your own research. I cannot stress that enough. Do your own research, okay? After watching this, it took me about an hour and a half to really get my mind out of the slump, okay? And it really, disturbed me in a way. And I thought, wait a minute, we're all eventually going to die anyway. But she makes it sound like it's going to happen tomorrow. No. Please do your own research. I cannot stress that enough. Please do your own research. It is very, very, very important. There's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about today. And I thought, well, maybe I can talk about it on the Views Express. No, there's stuff at freeamericaradio.us and also at Free America Radio on Facebook for you guys to check out. So please check it out. Okay, I don't want to start off with a downer and not give you something to bring you up just a little. But, there's just so much. So very much. So I got a couple of things to do, so I'm going to give you a 2-minute break, and I shall be back. And stick around, will you? If you have any questions, no question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Oh, and by the way, there's a new email address. I'll give you that during the show. So freeamericaradio@usa.com.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, and I want to tell you of a DVD that I have watched. It's a very interesting one. It's a film by Alex Jones. It's called Endgame, Blueprint for Global Enslavement. For the New World Order, a world government is just the beginning. Once in place, they can engage their plan to exterminate 80% of the world's population while enabling the quote-unquote elites to live forever with the aid of advanced technology. For the first time, crusading filmmaker Alex Jones reveals their secret plan for humanity's extermination. Operation Endgame. That's Endgame by Alex Jones. Get it at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the Wayne S. Pierce Show and the Views Express Live. I usually like to put up some podcasts for you, so you know I'm still out there. Anyway, go to Free America Radio on Facebook, and also go to freeamericaradio.us, and also the Wayne S. Pierce Show on Facebook, and also the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com for more information on what you're hearing. Okay, I got a lot of stuff there. Anyway, hey, I got a question for you. What is your interpretation on what's going on? I'd like to know. I really would. I would like to know. So email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. Oops. If you join me in the first couple of minutes of the show, I'll tell you something. I have a new email address. Now, you can still use freeamericaradio@usa.com because that's easy to remember, isn't it? So freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can still use that one. It's okay. It's all right. But here's a new email address. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. 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 Okay? So if you want to send anything you want there, you can. But you can also keep using, if you'd like, freeamericaradio@usa.com. But the new email address is freeamericaradio@unseen.is. So, anyway, what am I going to talk about today? Well, it's going to be really simple. I'm not going to take that long. Usually my podcasts are an hour. But I think I'm going to make this one as long as I see fit, really. I don't know. It's probably going to be less than an hour. Who knows? Hey, go outside. Not right now because you're listening to this. But later when you're done listening to this, go outside and look in the sky. Oh, and please take your camera. Take your cell phone, your camera, whatever. Go look in the sky, and if you see these big lines that are crossing the sky in every single direction, and you look like, you imagine a giant tic-tac-toe game going on in the sky, those are chemtrails, folks. Those are chemtrails. No, don't. Yeah. Just hold on just a sec. Those are chemtrails. The patents have been out for the equipment to be put in older or more up-to-date and modified 727s and 737s given to the military and given to private companies to spray chemtrails in the air. Chemtrails has cesium, tritium, barium. They have all sorts of chemicals in there. That's why they're called chemtrails. Now, what are all these chemicals? Tritium and all these other things. What are these things? Well, they're chemicals that usually, even in small doses, will kill you. But as any physicist, as any scientist would know, that if you put two chemicals together, some will make a massive explosion, and some put together will pretty much nullify each of the chemical compounds out and be a different chemical. So, anyway, I love it when the phone rings. Hey, let me do this. Shall I? Hang on. Okay. 4 rings. It dies. I just had to see who it was. That's why I said hang on. But all these chemicals that are in the air, all these things that are in the air, all these chemicals that are in the air. Now, what is the common, more level, or I don't want to say level, but the acceptable level, there we go, the acceptable level of chemicals that a person can absorb, that your land can absorb, and all of that? What's the normal acceptable level? Okay, so let's look at that. I don't have the information in front of me, so please do your homework. Specifically in Northern California, in and around Shasta Mountain, scientists went up there to check a few things, to check chemical compounds, to check the level of chemicals in the grasses and in the mountain and on the mountain and in the dirt. And I mean, they spent months up there, right, doing this. They found out that the normal acceptable level was exceeded by more than 61% of chemicals that were currently in the ground. The stuff in the ground exceeded the normal acceptable levels by 61%. They traced all that back to private companies because they did their homework. They traced all these chemicals, where they came from. They asked people around town, all this, right? They did the investigation. They found out that these chemicals came from certain companies that were contracted with private companies, and even some companies that were contracted with the federal government, to fly over the town or to fly around, and they saw these chemtrails in the air, so the citizens got a little concerned. They're spraying crap in the air, folks. I don't want to hear it anymore. They're not contrails, they're just condensation trails. No, you're an idiot. Condensation trails, anywhere between 15 to 25 seconds after leaving the end of the engine itself, will disappear. 15 to 25 seconds after it leaves the engine. Okay? And it all depends about the altitude and all that kind of stuff. But chemtrails, as I said before, the equipment that was patented and is being used in modified 727s and 737s have dispersing nozzles on the wings. Okay? So I don't want to hear it anymore. I've had discussions with people that say, no, they're contrails. And you have your dunce cap on. Go sit back in the corner where you belong. Folks, I tell you like it is. I told you on the other show, on the Views Expressed and the Wayne S. Pierce Show, that I'm not holding back in 2014. If I think you're an idiot, you're an idiot. Oh, well, then I'm not going to listen to your show if you're going to call people names. Really? Hey, dude, there's or dudette, depending if you're female. There's a intersection coming up, and there's a stoplight there. Are you so rebellious or naive or blind that you're not going to see that, not understand what that red light means? Or are you going to go by the old joke as being, oh, green light means go, red light means stop, yellow light means goes faster. Okay, I hope you enjoy your stay in the hospital if you run that red light. Let me break it down for you. Let me break it down for you in the brief time I have right now. And it's this. It pays and benefits you greatly to know what is going on around you. Okay? It benefits you to the nth degree beyond what you can imagine. All right? Because here's the thing. Most people as George Orwell described in his book 1984, will sit around and watch TV and do all this, and they introduce these gladiatorial games such as UFC, football, basketball, not really baseball because that's not a contact sport, but, well, it is in some ways, but you've got all of these things distracting you. It is a proven fact and on record. Psychologists have proven that when you're sitting in the movie theater watching that movie, that certain areas of the film have embedded in them subliminal messages. It has been a proven fact for over 50 years. So as you go and watch your TV, by the way, psychologists and other technicians have blown the whistle on the fact that there is a flicker rate on your TV and possibly on your new computer monitors that puts you in a light reverie, a light trance, and therefore whatever they put in ads on the right-hand side or the left-hand side of your screen or right above everything you're looking at, you're looking at that and saying, oh, okay, subliminal messages. When you look at the embedded videos on some of these websites and they're advertising, you can right-click and go to the source and find these videos. Go look at the makeup of that video. Okay? You can do it on YouTube. I mean, if you can, if somehow you can look at the source of the video. Okay? The bottom line is, folks, you're being hypnotized. You're being lulled into the sense of comfort. Oh, look, there's a pretty kitty. Oh, look at this car. Isn't it beautiful? Take this pill if you have a problem, and it will cure your problem. What they don't tell you, or what they have to tell you now, is that the one pill that you take for your ailment has 10 to 15, on average, 10 to 15 negative side effects that are going to put you in the hospital. That you have to take more drugs to counteract the side effects of the drugs you were taking to cure you or help you alleviate the problem that you had before. But the other drugs that you're taking, you need to take more to alleviate those. You get the point, right? I don't know, folks. I mean, I seriously do not know why people cannot open their damn eyes and see what's going on. I just really don't. I try to be as calm and as rational and as reasonable as I can, but I'm going to say this. There are stupid people out there that absolutely do not care. Now, the people listening to this, of course, are going to say, well, geez, you're really offensive. I'm offended that you're stupid. Or you, not you specifically that I'm talking to, just in the general population of people who are distracted and unaware of what is going on. Stupid. Well, I don't want to listen to your show if you're just going to badmouth people. I'm not badmouthing people. I'm showing you the reality of the situation going on around you. People are unaware. They don't care. Bring on a beer and a boxing match. They don't give a crap what's going on outside of their house or in their neighborhood. And if they did, holy crap, they'd be as pissed, if not more, than I am. Sorry, I gotta calm down, so I'll be back. I'll be back in a little over a minute. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. What's that moving in the shadows? Claranormal Talk Radio with your host, Steve Hembry, right here on RadioKahuna.com. Hey folks, how you doing? Hey, yeah. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. How are ya? This is just a little podcast I put together. It is the 16th of January, 2014. How are you? You can email me at freeamericaradio at unseen.is. Free America Radio at unseen.is. Yes, you can do that. Or you can use the other email, freeamericaradio at usa.com. freeamericaradio at usa.com. Go to freeamericaradio.us. Hey, how you doing? How are you today on the 16th of January, 2014? How are you? Are you awake? Are you grateful to be alive? Because being grateful to be alive is a really good thing, isn't it? There I go with my radio voice again. How you doing? I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. distortedreality.podbean.com. Want to give a big shout out to Christopher John Taylor over at Crash Talk at HTLA973.com. HTLA973.com. There we go. That's Christopher John Taylor. You can find him on Facebook and all the other social networks. Hey, you're grateful to be alive. You got your family around you. You've probably lost someone this year or last year. But let me ask you a question. And I'm going to go in a totally different direction in this because I believe that we all have the knowledge of who we truly are. We all have the knowledge of who we truly are. So I'll leave that there for you just for a second. Have you ever had, or asked someone or had someone ask you, oh, who are you? and you look at them, what is the first thing you say? What's the first thing you say? If somebody says, oh, who are you? You begin to describe yourself as your job or your career, don't you? Someone says, who are you? You're going to answer them, oh, I'm a truck driver. I'm a teacher. I'm a doctor. You describe yourself as your job. If someone were to ask me who I am, I would say I'm a human being. Of course, that would, elicit the duh response, but that's who I am. I'm a human being. There is this sense, this I would say it's undeniable. This undeniable focus to describe who you are as your job. I don't know why. I have no clue how to explain it any easier than that, but people, when asked who are you, describe themselves as their job. So does your job make you who you are, or do you make your job? I say job, let's insert the word career as well. So are you what you believe you are? Makes for an interesting side note, does it not? It's something for you to think about, something for you to try to wrap your mind around. And it really, to me, it just, I don't really understand why people would describe themselves as their job. I don't know. So who are you? After all of the research that I've done, and I'm still not done, I'm still reading, still learning something new every day. After everything that I've done over the past 30 some odd years, I can tell you this. We are not our jobs. Okay? We are not our jobs. We're not our careers. We're not even, I might get some hate mail for this. We're not even the husbands or the wives, or the brothers or sisters, or the moms and dads. Okay? So who are we? If someone were to ask you, who are you? How would you describe yourself? We are not our jobs. We are not what the environment, what our neighborhood, what our neighbors say we are. We're not even what our brothers and sisters and moms and dads tell us we are. Okay? We are much more than that. We are greater than that. We are greater than our environment. We are greater than our physical being. Greater, using that term loosely. We are more than this flesh and blood body. We're more than this vessel we call a body. And a lot of people would say, well, you're just saying that just to, as a peace of mind. Religion was created by man to help him understand who he is and to have a connection with God. Yes, I've heard it all. I've listened to lectures that would put me to sleep, and but they didn't. I learned a great deal from these lectures, and I guarantee you that we are not this flesh and blood body. Okay? We're much more than that. Now, let me direct your attention to this. Why are people so mean, so offensive, so defensive? Why are people have so much of an attitude towards somebody else? Why is that? Is there something that has gone wrong within them that caused them to be that way? Something, maybe, somewhere. If you're going to be a mean person, I've heard this before. A mean person is always a mean person. Well, that's just the way they are. They're like that. Really? What caused them to be like that? What caused them to be like that? Was it something in their environment? Was it something that had changed in their environment? In the way they were raised, in the school they went to, in the friends they had? Was it something that changed? Well, that's an interesting little note, isn't it? Keep that in your mind and try to wrap your mind around that one. We are the product and the sum and the result of in the physical and how we think and what we do. We are what our environment has instilled in us. Ooh. So when I go back to the question of who are we, and I say that we're much, more than what our physical bodies are, you should look into that. Because after the 30 some odd years of me researching various spiritual and religious organizations and beliefs around the world, I can tell you this much. This body is just a vessel. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I'll let you wrap your mind around that one. In the 1940s, probably somewhere about 44, 45, 46, around in there, mid-40s, 1940s, there was a philosopher who thought the same thing and on the same lines. And he thought, well, let's go and check this out. So he began to do his research, and over many, 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 many years and months and hours and all this, he came to the conclusion that we are spiritual beings. And he even proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are spiritual beings. Let me use a reference, a little side note reference here about Nikola Tesla. Nikola Tesla created free energy. Didn't need a power plant, didn't need nuclear power, didn't need any of that crap. Free energy. The likes of which would have revolutionized the 20th century if his material was not stolen and he was not systematically and methodically, let's just say, eliminated out of the process. We would be much further technologically if we would have used his technology. Going back to the spirit, going back to who we are, and this body just being a vessel, we are more than what we are physically. And physically speaking, we are pretty good, are we not? We are pretty good. We exercise, we do all that. But then you have the opposite of that. You have the opposite types of people that say, I don't like you, you're gonna do, and you have the a-holes that are out there. The just total MFing a-holes that are out there that really don't care, that really, they don't show any empathy, sympathy, anything for anything whatsoever. Why? Well, our bodies absorb negative energy. And who we are, the spiritual being that we are, now I'm going into this area, our spiritual being, who we truly are, deflects all of the negativity that is around us. Why do you think people in some really, 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 really bad situations can smile? Why? Why do you believe that people who were on death's door in a hospital or have had near-death experiences come back a hell of a lot happier than they were before? And I'm not saying that in all cases. I know some people that have come back that are just really pissed off. Like, what am I doing here? I don't want to be here, and they're just waiting, But our positive energy, the gratefulness, the happiness, the joy that we have living and being alive and being grateful and loving and all of this deflects all that negativity. Why do people absorb it and let it take over? Because they don't understand who they are. They do not understand that they are not their job. They do not understand that they are not what their environment has dictated them to be. Yes, dictated to them what they are. Okay? So all that negativity begins to be absorbed by the body, and therefore you can't move. You get this mind, and it affects your mind. It affects the way you think. You think about these things. By the way, that's all in psychological papers written up in major magazines, major psychological magazines. So I'm not telling you anything that isn't true, okay? You got to go look it up yourself. So the negative energy that we absorb in the body is like, well, it will eventually kill us. And when I say that, I'm not saying physically, although stress is one of the major factors in heart attacks nowadays. It will eventually tear us down to the point where our bodies cannot move. Or where we get so mentally lethargic that our preconceived ideas that we have about life are now the solid, what we would believe, the reality that's there, which really isn't. It's all false and everything else, but we don't know that, a person may not know that. Okay. So how do we overcome all of this stuff? How do we overcome that factor of that answer of that question of who are you? Well, I'm not this, that, and the other thing. I am a human being. This vessel is just a body for who I truly am, which is a limitless spiritual being. Therefore, I'm not going to allow the negativity to be absorbed by that vessel. Okay? And I'm going to deflect all the negativity. Now, if you don't believe that energy cannot be absorbed by a physical object, there are clay discs that were found in archaeological sites overseas. I can't remember the specific place. I don't think there was Egypt. I think it was someplace else. And they went back to the lab and somebody goes, that looks like a record player. So somebody got a bright idea of making this thing that could, you could put this disc on and play it and everything. You should hear, and they put it through a computer and they did all that, a whole 9 yards. You should hear what comes out of that. Okay. You can just go to startpage.com and punch in, type in there, clay discs play music, and you'll come up with something, I'm sure. But we are the limitless spiritual being existing within this limited physical body. We have the problems in life that we have because we don't identify ourselves in that manner. When somebody says, "Who are you?" we identify ourselves by our position in life, by our job. Oh, I'm a father of 4, or I'm a CEO of a major company, or I'm a bicyclist. No. You are a human being. Okay? I don't care what color you are or what sexual orientation you have. You're a human being. So when somebody asks you, "Who are you?" you know how to answer that. You don't go into all the explanations I gave, but just tell them, if somebody says, "Who are you?" go, "I'm a human being." And just leave it at that. I mean, they get all, they might get a little, they may not like you for a moment, but they'll get it. They'll get it. Hey, if you have any questions, again, no question is off limits. If I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. Please email me. Let me give you the new email address, freeamericaradio@unseen.is. That's freeamericaradio@unseen.is. freeamericaradio@unseen.is. I shall return. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman.
Misfit is a misfit.
Samo.
Ignorant of hygiene, destructive, disorderly, and totally disrespectful.
It's the 5:15 with Samo on Samo Radio.
AM 1700 Daytona Beach, Holly Hill.
And Southnet 1.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. How are you? Let me, I have to ask, I do have to ask, how's my sound? I want to know, I'm curious. How's my sound? Does it cut out? Does it, whatever it does? I don't know. How's my sound? Got a little problem. My little problem is my desktop computer gave up. It just, I was doing something and the whole thing just shut off. Poof, just shut off. And I found out that it was the power supply, or at least that's process of elimination. That's process of elimination, not illumination. Elimination has shown me that it was the power supply. So, and I don't know. I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out. I don't think it was the hard drive, because what I did is I cleaned it out, plugged it back in, fired it up, and about a minute later it shut off again. And I'm like, oh, okay, well. So I am doing this through this particular episode, this particular podcast, through my laptop. So that's why I want to know how my sound is. And of course, the laptop is not as powerful as the desktop. And so I'd like to know, so email me at freeamericaradio@unseen.is, freeamericaradio@unseen.is. So, anyway, what else? Oh, I'm writing. Let me give you an excerpt. I'm writing something, and this is going to be deep, so, you know, open your mind to the possibilities, okay? Everybody says, well, get your thinking cap on. Why? You're restricting thinking. Well, you better tighten up that thinking cap a little more. Why? You're restricting your flow of thought and the energies that help you think, okay? I don't want to do that. I'll get myself a headache. Total abolition of rationality. The total abolition of rationality. This is an excerpt from something I'm writing. Please stay tuned. I will tell you when I will be releasing a book. This might be in it. Who knows? But anyway, holy crap. Let me play you another, or the same break. Hang on, 2 minutes.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny. I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear, from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
Free Talk Live.
When you call a government bureaucracy, more often than not, the person who you talk to will not know the answer to your question, but they'll tell you they think they know who the person is that has the answer, and they will pass the buck to that other person, and if they happen to pick up the phone, they'll usually pass on the buck, or you'll leave a voicemail and never hear back from anybody.
Right. I mean, I wasn't being rude with the PSA at all. The third person I talked to, she was getting pretty hot under the collar. It's like, what are you being so angry for? I'm just asking regular questions any person would.
Well, she's probably upset that she had to pick up her phone and talk to one of the little peons like you.
She's probably annoyed at her underlings who actually gave you her phone number and let you get through to her.
Yeah, that's probably the case. She just wants to play solitaire, and you interrupted her game, or she just wants to surf on the internet, and you just ruined her day.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Join the National Down Syndrome Society's My Great Story campaign
to honor and celebrate the amazing stories of the 400,000 Americans with Down syndrome.
If you have Down syndrome, tell us about your achievements, dreams, and aspirations.
If you know someone who has Down syndrome, tell us how they've inspired you.
Visit ndss.org/stories to share your great story.
Hey, folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the 16th of January, 2014. I am so glad you are, and please forgive me for the phone ringing. Yes, it's right on my desk. Yeah, I don't have a regular studio like, Christopher John Taylor over at HTLA973.com, okay? I'm not that fortunate, okay? Yeah, I know. Christopher John Taylor, HTLA973.com. Yeah, go check it out. Anyway, hey, I wanted to read an excerpt of a book I'm writing, and please stay tuned because I'll tell you when the book's going to be out. And I may or may not have this in there, so I don't know. I mean, it's copywritten 2014, so I'm just telling you up front, this is going to be part of a book, hopefully. Depends. The Total Abolition of Rationality. If one were to measure the success of any individual by how much material possessions they acquire, one might lose sight of what that person is or why that person is a success. Right? Okay, so if I'm just going to editorialize as I go along here. For the most part, successful people work hard and over long hours to acquire what they have. But what is the purpose of acquiring material possessions if one gets to be too elderly to enjoy it? The way we see things requires a general knowledge of very specific things in life. As we find answers to questions, our continued search takes us to very interesting places. Uncovering answers to very complex questions in life causes one to continue our search, knowing that we may never get those questions answered. At times, presuming one has not asked enough questions, one might balk at the concept of going further to find the answers to the questions being asked. This should be the starting point to which to begin. Okay? It's just a little paragraph, a little something I wrote, but it's true. And I asked before, do you know who you are? And I asked before, when somebody comes to you and says, who are you? Why are you always quick to describe yourself as your job? Because you've allowed that materialism, that I'm going to say philosophy of materialism, to creep into your life. The more I have, the happier I am. Really, I know people that make millions of dollars a year and they're not happy. I know people that have, and I've heard of people having all the money that they can ever use and they give most of it away. They're not happy. Because their material possessions don't build them to be they don't create something in them that helps them be a better person every month or every day or every year. It doesn't. Now, the total opposite is true as well. I've seen people who, well, for instance, you've probably seen the information about Keanu Reeves, who made millions of dollars doing the Matrix movies. He's given most of that money away to the film crew and made them millionaires. Why? He doesn't need all that. And that makes him happy. So, don't describe yourself as, your job when somebody says, who are you? I usually tell people, and have in the past told people, I'm a human being grateful to be alive. And I work at surviving every day. And they just look at me going, okay. Now, am I perfect by any means? Oh, God, no. Do I get angry? Yes, I do. But I try to rein that in because that's not who I am. And I've had people and basically other people who are a lot smarter than I am say, well, you know that part of you that's angry is always going to be there, and it's always going to... I rein it in as much as I possibly can. Is it there? Yeah. Is there a possibility that I will get so enraged that I may just forget or put aside all the goodness? And yes, because it happens. I've talked to Buddhist monks. I've talked to Taoist instructors. I've talked to martial arts instructors, and they say the same thing. There's that fine line of describing yourself as who you are and your job. Much like when I was talking to the martial arts instructor in Stockton, California, I said, do you ever get angry, if you were to defend yourself, or have you in the past defended yourself with your martial arts? And they say, yeah. And I said, do you ever get angry and just, want to take this person completely out permanently? And they go, I rein that in because I'm defending myself, not out to, kill somebody. This is truly defense, a defense mode that I'm in. And I'm like, okay, because I was writing an essay about, the duality of personalities. And I literally found that we all have that yin and yang. We all have that duality within us. Again, taking you back to the body, the vessel, the skin, the molecules that make us up are attracted, or not attracted, they don't actively seek out, but they attract negativity. When we are angry, they attract negative atoms, negative, everything out there when we are angry. Okay? When you deflect all that with love and honesty and gratitude, and you put out positive flows of energy, you're deflecting all of that away. Oh, that's good. That's all new agey stuff. Oh my God, I don't understand that. Open a book and read. Over 35 years of my life has been and is continuing to educate myself on what is going on around me in every aspect. I've heard people I've seen and actually heard people tell me, I'm not interested in all that. And you know what I do? I say, what are you interested in? You know what they tell me? Not much. I just work. That's all. I got kids. I work. And that. Really? You're not interested in anything else? No, but I want my kids to be better than I was. I had a woman tell me at a bookstore once that she would rather have her kids be better than she is. And I'm like, well, don't all parents want their kids to be better? And then I said, well, who are your kids? How can you describe your children? And she was she was an acquaintance of a friend of mine. And I just told her, I asked her, I said, well, how do you describe your kids to other people? Do you say they're a pain in the butt? Do you say they're good kids, mannered? Oh, no, my kids are just pains in the ass. I said, but you love them. Yeah, I love them. That kind of thing. So there really isn't anything outside of that rut, if you will, to even describe as something that you can, bring yourself to accept to be able to get you out of that rut. So when somebody says, who are you going to describe yourself as your job? Because if you do, then you're in that rut. That's why over 25 years ago, I began to look at not only my life, but I began to codify the things that I was looking at and say, well, this, and this line up to produce this. And I began to do that. And through all of that, it helped me understand me better than anybody else could ever understand me. And let me point something out. I still don't understand me that well. And neither do you. But you get to that point where you have that confidence, that you say, hey, you know, I am this. If somebody were to ask you, who are you going to say, I'm a truck driver, I'm an electrician, I'm a plumber? Or are you going to go, I'm a human being on this planet, grateful to be alive and trying to survive every day? Now, don't use that verbatim and not believe it. I believe it myself because I'm a human being. But I go one step further. I'm a limitless spiritual being existing within this limited physical body. I am doing everything physically to try to survive. Am I going to live forever? No. But when I'm done using this body, I'm going to unzip it like a meat suit and I'm going to walk out. You know? And people get all upset because I used to work in the funeral industry as well. In the funeral industry. Yes, dead people. Hello. I see dead people. Yeah, and I did. And being as I am on the spiritual level, I'm understanding of death. I have an understanding of death. I know what it is. Besides, at one point in my life, my heart stopped. Okay, so I'm very personally attached to the understanding of what death is. Okay? Plus, you've lost people in your life, and so you can say, yes, that you have personally experienced this. But I have personally experienced my heart stopping. Okay? My first thought was not, oh my God, I'm going to die. My first thought was, am I going to embarrass myself? The point being, folks, is that you need to understand that you are not your job. You are not what the government tells you that you are. You are not what your neighbor says you are. You are not what your friend says you are. You are and I'm going to say this about myself again, because I'm going to use me as an example here. When I say you are a limitless spiritual being existing within this limited physical body. And it's limited physical body. From the day we are popped out of our mamas, we begin to decay. And death is at our doorstep. But we may live 5 years, 10 years. I've seen people live 103 years. My great-grandfather was 103 when he passed away. So, we are not our jobs. So stop thinking that you are attached to anything materially in this world. Now, I'm not saying, oh, well, you know, we're just going to go off and find the comet behind, you know, or find a spaceship behind a comet. No. Don't go Heaven's Gate on me, okay? I'm saying from the research that I've seen that we are, here's my point, we are much more than our physical bodies, period. Okay? Just saying, just putting it out there. Whoever came up with that phrase, just saying, that is one, man, that really gets my goat. Anyway, that chaps my hide. Anyway, hey folks, if you have any questions, concerns, comments, or anything that you want to reply to that I've said today, please email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. 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 And you can also use Free America Radio at unseen.is. That's Free America Radio at unseen.is. Hey folks, I'm glad you're there. I'm glad you're listening. Go to freeamericaradio.us or the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. Have a great day.